Live. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Yes. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. I am Spencer. I have JC. We have Steve. We have Alfonso. We have Todd Sohn in the house today. Very exciting. We have Mr. Kenny Glick. And that's the plan. So, chat, how we do? Rachel, what's up? Phil, what's up? How we doing? All good? Yes, I say so. I'm looking at my movers here. Anything jump out to us this morning? Not really. I mean, Palantir was kind of the big headline from the after hours session, so I'm sure Steve will want to talk about that. What else do we got? More earnings? Yeah, earnings bonanza in full swing, as they say. I don't know what's on JC's mind. I don't know what's on Steve's mind. We'll have to find out. So here we go. Do me a favor if you're watching us on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up button for me, please. If you're watching us on Twitter/X, then head on over to YouTube and hit the like. Thank you very much. Where are the guys? Are they here? Oh, I hope so. Where's my intro?
All right. We back, baby. We back.
Nothing like a little Todd Sohn on a Tuesday.
Todd Sohn on Tuesday. I'm gonna miss it. We have kindergarten entry exams today.
What? Explain that to me. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. What do you mean?
I guess they ask her questions like, do the ABCs and count to 20 and like say your name and like just, like stuff that she should know going into kindergarten, I guess,
You get in trouble if she doesn't know her name?
I heard it's like really easy. Like, she's been pre-K for years. So like, this is like, it's pretty easy, but I think it's just like a filter system to make sure that the kids are ready to go, It's good that they do that, I guess, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know
that either, by the way. The first timer over here. All right, we got the Dow down 300. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, Spencer, shall we?
All right.
Yeah, Rachel, entry exams is probably a strong word, but that's how I look at it. All right, guys, let's see. Dow futures, we got them down 300 today. So it's 41,000, pretty much even. 41,004, the world's most important stock market index, a 1 Dow Jones Industrial Average. S&P's down 90 bips, almost a full percent, still above 5,600. Looking at 5,620, down 50 handles today. NASDAQ 100 futures leading the way lower, down 1.2%. About 200 points under that 20,000 level, down 240 points right now. 30-year bond futures flat at 114.5. Crude oil up 2.5%. That's 58.50 for crude oil. Copper up almost a full percent, 475. Gold up 2%, pushing 3,400 an ounce. Silver up 2.6%, 33.33. With the VIX up this morning, approaching 25. 25 for the VIX. So keep in mind, before we get into crypto, I like to take that VIX, divide by 16, and that gives us, what the market is pricing in for a daily move. So you're looking at what, you math majors, with the VIX at 25, that's what, like 1.3%, something like that? Is that right? About 1.3, 1.4%, something like that?
Something like that.
You math majors, I can pull out the calculator, but it's a rough estimate. So it's about that. So, that's what I would expect moving forward until that changes. And then, of course, let's see, over in funny money land, we got Bitcoin down about 785 points here. Let's see. 785 points. That's just under 94,000 for Bitcoin. You got ETH 1773 down 2.5%. Solana down 2.5%, 143. Total crypto market cap 2.87 trillion. All right, what do we think? What's going on?
I think crude oil's bouncing finally, and that's really interesting. I've been watching energy closely. There's this bullish divergence between energy stocks and energy futures right now, and energy stocks look like they're just dying to scoop and score here.
The
So-
relative strength in energy stocks compared to crude oil itself does stand out, Strazza.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. And then it's earnings for me this week. The way that they're reacting to earnings always gives you so much information in times like these, weeks like this, where we got a lot of speculative growth reporters out here. So, just looking at the bottom of the leaderboard here this morning, it's still pre-market, but Corcept Therapeutics down 10%, Palantir down 8%, Hims and Hers down 7.5%, Genius Sports, also a growthy situation, down 6%, Constellation Energy, right, one of the AI utilities, CEG down 5.5%, Vertex down 5%, DoorDash 5%. So all the growthy stuff, really not seeing good reactions. I'm interested to see if Lemonade can hold up, LMND, and it looks like Datadog is up slightly here this morning as well. Ponyboy is up 10%. Pony AI, so that's good. But it seems like they're still not loving the earnings from some of the speculative growth companies, and also some of the darlings of this cycle. Stuff like Hims and Hers and Palantir used to being rewarded for really good reports. They both put out absolute bangers of reports yesterday, fantastic across the board. But what's Palantir trading at, like 100 times sales?
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know.
At a certain point, there's a level where it's all baked in the cake. So maybe they're there. Maybe they're there. The stock is wildly expensive, more expensive than anything else in the S&P 500. It deserves, obviously, a premium multiple, but how big of a premium is always the question, right?
Can we throw up slide 6? This is a really interesting one, and this is one that we've been talking about for a long, long time, this massive top and semis on a relative basis.
Haven't seen this one in a minute.
I'm sorry?
Haven't seen this chart in a minute, I feel like.
Yeah, maybe not you, but me and Strazza look at this one all the time.
Oh, excuse me.
And so, I think about the implications in both ways. These are big levels. If we're below that and this rolls over, starts making lower lows, like, what does that mean for the broader markets? Like, seriously, right? On the flip side, flip that on its head, what if we get above those levels and the squeeze is on and semis are the leader once again? What does that mean for the market, right? Like, am I overweighting this unnecessarily, or is this like as important as I'm making it out to be?
Nope. I'm right there with you. I wrote about this last week, but I used tech versus the S&P 500. So XLK SPY looks very similar to SMH SPY here, and if this scoops and scores and starts moving higher and up and to the right again, that means semiconductor leadership, risk on leadership, right? Offensive stocks are the best stocks again. That's bull market behavior. You can overlay typically an absolute price chart of the S&P 500 or any index, and it's going to move with this line, right? So
are semiconductors, is that the group you say that they are the best stocks?
No, they're the most important. Software.
Most important stocks. Which ones are the best stocks? Software?
Software.
Got it. Understood. And then how about this one? Throw up slide 5 there. I wonder if these things have been moving tick for tick together since 2012. Like 2012, 2013. Tick for tick, as you can see here, right? So you got the Tesla up at the top, and then you got the Tesla of China, Build Your Dreams, BYDDY, down below. And, you have a 4-year consolidation after a historic run higher, well-deserved. And now Build Your Dreams is making new all-time highs. Tesla is not. Are we really going to bet that the Tesla of China is going to break out to new all-time highs and rip higher, and the actual Tesla is not?
It's crazy how much these two have moved together over the years. So, no, I'm with you. This is great. It's a great chart. Love this.
Right. So there's a couple of things happening here, right? So Build Your Dreams on the pink sheet, so you can't trade the options there. Tesla, plenty of options liquidity, obviously. So if you're going to be in the common, let's say options are out of the equation, you could trade anything, but it's got to be common stock. Then you buy Build Your Dreams, or do you buy Tesla?
No, you got to be long Build Your Dreams. Tesla, that's its own thing, right? But if you're building a basket of stocks in China, we've wrote a lot about this. This is a part of the Shanghai index, right? Like this is the Mag 7 of China. It's exactly.
Is this the best one? This is the best one, right?
Looks the best, yeah. So
Because like 10 cents not there yet. Like some of these others haven't broken out.
Xiaomi, the OTC ones, the least liquid ones, unfortunately, have been the best looking. But yeah, I would say build your dreams. You have to own it.
And do you say unfortunately only because of the option situation?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah,
Not because
and
it's on the
really,
pink sheets and it makes it look bad. That doesn't matter.
no, but if you wanted to buy in size, some of these are very illiquid, even for OTC stuff, like the Metuan and the Xiaomi. So I don't know. I'm sure that improves and gets better probably this cycle. There's going to be a lot of demand for these names. But BYDDY, I think, yeah, you just got to own the common. This was a sweet breakout.
I got another good chart here. This one slides 7. So this one's kind of helps give some perspective. One of the things that I've been thinking about, if we get this rotation internationally, it doesn't strike me as a situation where the US goes down, probably maybe goes up at a slower rate, perhaps, right? Which is normal. You see that throughout a lot of bull markets throughout history. That would be normal. And I think about like what the future size of the stock market could look like. Right now, 123 trillion globally, half that coming from America. So would it be outrageous to think that the U.S. market cap could double from here or more, or kind of like what that looks like?
It's already just so huge compared to everything else. What are environs? Environs?
Well, I thought that was just kind of European Union and
environs. I've never heard that word
I don't
before.
know what environs is. Yeah,
EU and environs. Enron?
I wonder if that is like Iceland and things that are like around Europe.
Yeah, things around Europe. Yeah, the surrounding areas like Ukraine and Georgia and Algeria and Morocco.
Huh. Environs.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just the surroundings.
Look, I think that this gets
Belarus, big software in Belarus.
I think this gap narrows in the future.
I think the gap narrows in the future too, but I think about what the other ones are going to do, right? Like, can we expect Japan to double or triple, or is it more like expect India to double or triple? China doubling, tripling, you know what I mean? Like, I think about what those kind of, the U.S. doubles. Can we get to 250? Why not?
A simple re-rating for some of these countries narrows this gap significantly.
I actually
stuff like Brazil and China trading around 10 times earnings. The market re-rates them up to about 15 times, God forbid, right? Money managers welcome them back into their portfolios. This gap just narrows, and nothing has to change fundamentally.
So according to the World Bank, right, which is just like a great name for something. You know what I mean? Like World Bank, like that just sounds so dominant. Like we're just the World Bank. You know what I mean? Like that's just cool to me. So according to the World Bank, market cap for all U.S. listed securities, dude, just 10 years ago was 25. Now we're at 60.
Are you saying things have been good?
It's not so much things have been good. I'm thinking about like the rate of change.
Oh,
like before the financial crisis, we were at 20. Now we're at 60. So we're triple. We're 3 times the size of the value of U.S. stocks before the great financial crisis. So the peak beforehand. We're 3 times the size of that. How do you feel about that? You don't think we could double or triple again pretty easily?
Over the course of 15 years, is that what you're saying?
I mean,
sure.
We're more than double where we were 10 years ago. I don't know. This is what I think about. And I think about like what individual stocks would have to do. Like if you reverse engineer that, right? If you're like, yeah, this could very well happen. In fact, it probably will. What does that look like for individual equities? No? Am I the only one excited about this?
Well,
Can I get away in the chat? I feel like these guys don't give a shit.
no.
I
I
was
do
just like,
care.
whatever. Just buy the breakout.
Steve, can you hear? Yeah.
Kind of.
I do care, but then there's like the other part of me that's like, well, no, laws of gravity, right? What goes up can come down.
Are you
So-
buying
This isn't
international
fucking
stocks?
this isn't physics. This is the stock market.
I know, but that's how people think, JC. People not
Yes,
you.
I know, and it's our job to extract profits from people, from simpletons who think that way. Don't ever say that again. This isn't physics.
I'm projecting the opinions of other people.
Fair enough, and we are grateful that they think in such stupid ways.
So, Spencer, have you been adding international equity exposure as you promised last week? The chat wants an update.
No, I've been adding exposure, not international specifically, but I've been underinvested for 2 months now. So I'm getting back in the game.
Did you buy Baba?
No, but it's on the list.
What do you do with this list? Is it long? I don't know if this
No.
list
Just looks at it. He makes a list and he just looks at it. He puts it on the fridge.
Yeah, I have a post-it note on my desktop with all the things that I want to buy, things that I maybe want to buy. It's I have a tier system.
Next time when you're thinking about buying Baba, do this instead. Go buy Baba. Don't put it on a list.
Yeah, okay.
Just go hit buy.
Yeah.
So Baba over Baidu?
Look, you got to own. I own a lot more Baidu than Baba, but I'm in some Baba calls. And then we just put on some longer term Baidu stuff. And frankly, JC, if the calls weren't too darn expensive, going out further, I put on leaps as well. Breakout multiplier, we try to keep every contract to $250 or less. Otherwise, it just blows the position sizing for a portfolio. All right. So we went out all the way to August, but I went out a little bit further myself.
I mean, man, if this is a real bull market for China, is Baidu going to complete a 10-year top and just completely collapse?
No, and frankly, I think you could have been even more aggressive with this pattern, with how many times that support zone held, and probably could have put this position on weeks ago into the weakness. It's always simple. It's always easy to feel that way, but that's what I was thinking to myself yesterday. I said, why aren't we just buying the lower bounds again?
Can we bring on Kenny?
Yeah, bring him on.
Kenny, the Warlock, aka the Jesus of Wall Street, aka the Mention of Mentions,
AKA the grandfather of day trading. That's my favorite one.
That's right.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come for my club, they tug it. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hold up. Yeah.
All right, Kenny Glick in the house.
What's up? Let's get right into it. Glick's picks. Yeah, I went from super bullish to bearish. See that? You can't time the market. I just did. So what's up, boys? What's up, boys and girls?
Nothing that Netflix faded higher, huh?
Yeah, Netflix was awesome. The GPUS turned out to be phenomenal. Let me show you something, because I gotta go two more shows in the next 20 minutes so I can ramble.
Oh, okay, Hollywood. Excuse me.
That's right.
Oh, are we?
Speaking of shows, when's that show coming out, Kenny?
Oh, I have 2 shows today.
That's right.
Okay.
Wait, speaking of shows, Kenny, what's the old Amazon thing?
Oh, it's happening. Yeah. I got my poster in the mail. I just got my update. Let's not talk about it.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. I might be on the cutting room floor.
Okay.
Just briefly, again, since that crazy Trump candle and that capitulation, which got me super bullish this market, we were looking for the cues to just rip everybody's heads off, because I've been a victim to that move my whole life. Not this time. This time I was like, all right, you want to crash the market? I'm getting involved. So once we broke back above that 420 on the cues, I was looking for 450, 470. And when we broke that 470, I want to show you this is one of my favorite charts right now. This is 10 days on a 5-minute chart. It's showing you the whole world. So this was last Wednesday when the GDP number came out and it was negative and everybody freaked out for about 15 minutes. And then the market said, nah, we don't care. That's super, super bullish. UVXY started to crash. The market rebounds. And I was like, you know what? We're going right to that 492, which was basically that January pivot where we really started accelerating to the downside. Look where we got. This is basically Friday. So Friday, we saw some late day selling, which was a kind of an aha moment. But that aha moment again appeared yesterday where we were just grinding the bears, typical bull market move, UVXY's falling apart, and then late day selling showed up. So 2 days in a row, late day selling, and you had volatility products peaking. And also, we got little confirmation from Palantir. So just like Tesla confirmed our bullishness when the report came out and it was bad and we went up, Palantir reacting negatively to a decent report and late day selling with UVXY going up. I came in thinking, hey, we got to short something. But here's the problem, my friends. And if you aren't watching the NQ futures, you should. If you guys wanted to know if futures trading and VWAP go hand in hand, they certainly do, Ali. They certainly do. So all night, again, I was up for some reason all night. I couldn't sleep last night. Confirmation of what I've been saying. And here's that 10-day chart. So here's the 10-day chart. I think we could sell off down there, but look where we are right now. This is the 5-day. So we're right smack dab in the middle. And if we break here, this is the NQ futures with basically the QQQ. We just got to the point where I thought we could see, and we hit it more or less, to the penny, and that's where we're bouncing. So now what I look at is I don't want to get involved in a position that already happened. So if the market was starting higher today, I was coming in ready to crush, absolutely going nuts today on the short side, but that trade has already happened. So I'm waiting for a bounce. So if we bounce again and we can't get over that VWAP and we start to roll, I think we're in store for some more selling. So I'm excited about shorting today, but I'm going to be very cautious about it because it's been a losing trade, obviously for a month. And that's where
that dash line there. That is the multi-day.
That's 5 days worth of data. And again, if you look at it this is your 10-day. I just think when you look at this chart right there, there's this big void. There's the wonderful test that's last Wednesday. So now we're right in the middle. So if we give way, we're going to test this spot. And if we get through, this is basically, this is the NQ futures you're looking at, but correlate this to the Qs. That's around 478.50. We break 478.50 on the Qs, and then we're going to possibly give it, a lot more back, possibly right back down to that 10, which is around 468.50 on the Qs. And
now,
again,
if we get above that blue line, that's the 1-day VWAP. If we get above that, now the squeeze is on.
Right, and then it voids everything. So again, I was planning on shorting that. A lot of that's already happened. So now I have to flip it. I have to flip the script, and I just go right to Palantir. Palantir will show us the way. Palantir already got this. Is one of my favorite charts right now. Just grabbing a bunch of data from 5 and 10 days because it's really showing you the overall picture. That's your 10-day VWAP. Look at that massive support last night. That support is still here today, and you've just got your little faux show bro right there, VWAP break. And the stock's putting up a fight right now. So I want to see it go down, test those lows, and then turn. That'll be, super bullish for Palantir. And if Palantir turns bullish, chances are the Q is going to be bullish. So that's
okay. What's the level? What's the buy level there on Palantir?
Palantir, I would love to see it at 110. I don't think we're going to get it, but if we do, and again, I like it when it breaks the prior day VWAP, then comes back. That's the fake out, shakeout. So right now, I'm just a patient person. I'm a patient. Yeah, I'm in a mental asylum. I'm looking for it to break that low and then wash everybody out, which would be around that 110 area. And then if we could come back above the 111, that 111.75, then I'm probably going to get into the trade using that low if it does happen that way. Again, if it works out that way, that's also perfect. But again, VWAP will tell me what to do. And then I got one more for you. I'm just unhealthily hate this stock. I don't know why, HIMS, but it's just, I think this whole company's a scam. I was trading the aftermarket and I came in today thinking I'm going to short it, but now it's showing me that I probably should buy it. So instead of buying it, because I kind of boycott the stock just like Chinese stocks, I don't buy them. If it breaks VWAP and rallies, I'm waiting to see if it gets up to those recent highs this morning. And then if it can't get over those, I'll look to short this one. So I got a couple of stocks on the radar, but right now, a lot of them did what I was hoping to do. So now I just got to sit back and wait for it.
But you actually wouldn't buy HIMS if it broke above that blue line?
No, I boycott certain stocks. Yeah, I would never buy it. Even if you paid me to buy it right now, I don't buy it. It's just
all right.
Wow. Stocks. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the stupid things that I do. I hold grudges against stocks.
Okay.
But And if you guys have been watching my kids lately, this stock doesn't go away. So I don't know what it is. Like the GPUS yesterday, we traded that like masters. We were on that stock, like every move it had. GPUS yesterday, we were all over this bad boy, and it paid us like 4 different times. I'm going to keep an eye on this one, but the kids, this stock just keeps ripping. And again, low risk trades. You're risking 20 cents, and it's been ripping, 10%, 20%. So these two, keep these one on the radar. KIDZ and GPUS.
Okay.
Fireworks.
What? I have to know what this company does.
No clue. I just like the name of the company, Classover, which is how I just booked my restaurant.
What's
Johnny
the symbol?
Classover.
KID.
Which one?
Kids. KIDS.
It's an online
KIDZ. I think it's
online learning company.
Yeah. It's probably out of China. Probably doesn't
Dude,
exist.
did you hear Coco Melon just got bought out for $3 billion?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Damn. Spencer, you will soon learn to hate a one Coco Melon.
Oh, I'm bracing for it.
Coco
By the
Melon
way-
and Ping Fong. You are going to hate those things.
Again, back to this Hims trade. It's just my opinion. The company just seems shady to me. I think there's gonna be one Herbalife investigation away from the stock.
Dude, Herb Greenberg's right in there with you. Why don't you guys have a chat? The two of you guys could just bash the hell out of this company together.
Yes. Herb, if you're out there, I'm rooting for you. Well,
dude, the two of you. Herb was texting me about it this morning.
Yes. There's something just shady about this fake drug company. I don't like it at all.
He agrees. I'm long.
All right, good
That's
luck.
what makes the market.
I'll see you guys. Make sure
We're
you come to
making
the
money.
room,
He's
man.
pulling back today, obviously, but we're in the black.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right,
Kenny,
be
guys,
careful, you maniacs. I'll see you guys
trade
later.
with Kenny
Later.
every day. Hit thebid.com. Get in his room. Get his VWAP indicator. See his charts. Trade with him every day from like 8 o'clock in the morning through the open and beyond. The room is open all day.
Not only am I long and this pullback is fine because we're in the black, I might be buying some on this pullback. I'm not even gonna lie. Meanwhile, two of the guys I respect the most, Kenny Glick and Herb Greenberg, both hate the crap out of this, and I might be buying more.
But Steve loves it. So what's that worth?
Yeah, but Steve's like me though, so like he doesn't count. I feel like you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
like of course he likes it. He likes it for the same reasons I like it.
No, this company, dude, they're like taking over healthcare slowly. Like this is a real growth story. They're doing deals with Novo. They're talking about doing deals with Lilly next. Like the guys who run this company are 5 steps ahead of everybody else in healthcare.
What do you call them? What do you call them?
They're master operators.
No. I know. What do you call the pills? You have a name for them. Hard pills. What do you call them?
No, they're called hard mids. What do I call? I call them a lot.
Hard mids.
We call them a lot of things when we talk about them, but they're called hard mids.
Okay, that's like the official nomenclature.
Look, they do a lot. They do a lot of stuff besides just like ED medications. That is a very popular like revenue stream for them. But they're selling anything that they can sell online. They're doing it, and they're doing it well. And now they're partnering with literally the drug makers. I don't know. It's a good story. It's a good story. They're talking about massive growth continuing, years and years into the future. The guide they gave yesterday was pretty hot all the way out to like 2027. They're talking about doing almost $10 billion in revenue. So it's real money, dude. That's real money selling drugs online. Really incredible.
If you're above the prior cycle highs in Hims, you can't be short. You got to be crazy.
And don't they go outside?
Below that, knock yourself out. But above that, you can't be short to the point where I think you need to be long.
It's tough being short a name like this in general. Spencer knows. We come on here and talk about press releases every day. It's like every other week they're just dropping a hot press release, but it's not like just a story stock. They're backing it up with real sales and earnings now. So they're going to keep getting rewarded as they do deals and drop these press releases and make these, announcements.
Doesn't Hims go outside health insurance? Isn't that like part of the shtick? Is that they're not through your insurance provider won't cut, so you can get like fast, easy medications, but it's not through your insurance, right? So
I gotta hop, but I gotta cut a couple questions for Todd Sohn. Todd, I know you're in the green room listening. I will be listening.
Can't ask questions. No, you're not allowed to ask questions if you don't stay for the interview. We've been over this. Don't try this.
I just want to hear his thoughts on the market cap of the market. We're 125 globally. We got 60 in the US. We're at 125 across the board. Number one, how long before we get to a quadrillion? So that's 1,000 trillion. Right now we're at 125 trillion. And how long before we could double, and could we triple, quadruple? Am I wrong by thinking like about it like that? I want to hear Todd's thoughts. All right, guys, love you. Adios.
You're asking how long until we quadruple from here? Is that what he just asked?
I don't know. I hope Todd.
That's what he just said. No, more than
Spencer. Do you remember when your
No,
parents?
I said how long before we get to a quadrillion, right? Which is 1,000 trillion, and right now we're at 125 trillion. So how long before we get to a quadrillion?
Yeah,
oh my
got it.
God.
Spencer, do you remember when your parents would like leave you with a babysitter when you were younger, and they'd be like talking to the babysitter like, well, he likes to play his hockey video game before
Yeah.
bed, and they're like setting you up. Like that's how I feel like with JC right now. You know, like just talk to him about this. Like, hey, bring on Todd. I like baseball.
I'm not following what you're. I'm not with you on this. I don't really know what point you're making. But
you should talk about this with your friend.
Okay. Well, we got Todd Sohn here anyway, so let's just bring him on.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Todd Sohn.
I don't have an answer to that. I don't. You lost me there with the quadrillion number.
No.
No,
He stumped
clearly.
you with his only question.
I didn't understand what the genesis of it or anything of it. I didn't understand any of that.
Let me get this off screen.
Boner pills, yes or no?
Wait, you're on mute. Wait, check. Whatever just happened, you're on mute. Your headset
Okay,
just died?
sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, my phone. I guess when my phone rings, it cuts out. Somebody,
Oh, yeah.
JC was calling me for an answer.
Was he really?
No, just kidding. No, to your question, Steve, those aren't for me personally.
All right.
I've got I got some other supplements. More of a creatine guy.
Oh, he's got other supplements, guys. Rudy Valentin says hard mints are recession proof, and I would agree with him.
What about HIMZ though?
What's that?
That's the leverage.
That's the 2x HIMS.
They have a 2x for HIMS?
Yeah, they have a 2x for almost everything now. I mean,
I saw they got them for the quantums, right? They got it for qubits and Rigetti. What? Somebody needs Todd.
I know. My sales guy was looking at me. I'm like, "This is what
Are
happens."
you hopping the Bloomberg terminal or something?
I'm just in demand. I'm just in demand.
Tell him you're on the morning show.
I did.
All right. All right. So what are you watching these days aside from the just constant bull market and launches of double leveraged individual stocks?
Oh my God, it's crazy. So we rallied 18% over 18 days, roughly high to low. I think you're probably due for a little bit of chop here. And then, okay, how much pressure is on the chop to decide if we're going to go back and do the whole retest thing, or are we out of the woods? And it's interesting when you look at the flows data, it's very suggestive of skepticism. And I'm not talking like there's always money going into passive funds, right? As some VOO, IVV, stuff like that. That's totally normal. But you've had some cooler demand over the last 3 weeks, which is interesting to me because we started off 2025 in a very aggressive stance, and now you're starting to see the flow data really cool off.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, explain what's in the chart. Though, like, are the flows cooling off, or are they downright defensive?
Both. So this is going to take every equity ETF out there, right? There's a couple thousand of them, mostly dominated by passive S&P type funds. Yeah. And for a while, we were averaging almost $3 billion per day, $3 billion in inflows per day. In the last 3 weeks, though, you're more or less flat. And so I actually like seeing this as the market rises, that you're just having less aggressive attitudes, people taking money off the table. When you go a level deeper, which I think is really where the interesting data is, because this is going to be more tactical players.
Oh, wow.
It's dominated by treasury bill ETFs, so basically cash, gold, and then money coming out of cyclical sectors like financials, industrials, discretionary, right?
This
And
is off
small caps.
April lows.
This on the x-axis is going to be the flows since the low.
Yep.
And the y-axis is flows from the peak in February to the low. So just two different time frames. And you can see in that lower left corner is cyclicals and small caps. So there's just not a lot of money going to these offensive type areas. And so regardless, if we correct and retest the low, whatever you think, at some point this data sets up very favorably for a longer term run to get aggressive again, like we saw last year, like we saw in 2021 type stuff there.
Wait, why? Isn't it saying the opposite?
It is, but I look at this with a contrarian view, right? There's outflows, people very pessimistic, and I don't have a great feel here after the 18% over 18 days, right? Maybe it's a bear market rally, maybe it's not. But I think
sentiment, Spencer.
Exactly. Sentiment is just very pessimistic. It's very skepticism. So once we get through this kind of volatile environment, I think it actually sets up pretty nicely for the back half of the year.
All these T-bill flows. This is dry powder, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good spin. I like that spin.
Yeah, I think it's
not
depending on what you're doing with your portfolio. It's not a bad thing to have 4% yields and no duration risk, no volatility. It's pretty nice to have right now, or at least it was from February 19th to April 8th.
I just bought some EM high yield bonds. Does that count? Where's that?
A little out of my risk spectrum, but if you whatever you do what you want to do.
Europe's still getting flows, and what do you make of growth? Because you have to adjust growth in your mind, because isn't it almost always at the top of these lists?
Yeah. Growth is always going to get money in. That's like the same as passive S&P 500 funds. Europe, though, people finally caught on to it, and now you have IEV. I think is at a new. I can't remember. This one might be at a new all-time high, going back pre-financial crisis.
But the flows are at the highest since. What's that in the lower pane? Is that almost a 10-year high in the flows?
I mean, multi-year high. It's not like 2014 was when we had a big dollar shock higher, and you all of a sudden saw money pour into all the the dollar hedge strategies.
Can you full screen this, Spencer? Thanks. Go ahead, Todd.
You've definitely picked up money. You went from a place of agnosticism, being very agnostic 5 months ago, to now people are saying, oh, we got to add Europe because Mag 7's deteriorating, the influence of the S&P is deteriorating. We need to internationally diversify. So a little bit hot in the near term. I'm mindful of that, but it's also a long way away, I think, from a consensus idea.
Todd, I'm feeling the exact same way, but I don't think that the market agrees with us. We've been saying this for the past few weeks, some backing and filling here for Europe, a little bit of corrective action, well deserved, would probably be healthy.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, come to my computer, breakaway gaps across the board for these international ETFs.
Yeah, really. I mean, look at EFA, the EFA, is at the highest it's been, I think, all time. Yeah. We haven't hit a new high since 2007 or something like that. Maybe even 2000. I don't forget.
There's some of the best looking long-term or long-term chart or structural patterns in the market right now. These international ETFs, many of which are from Europe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Here you go. This is it. Look at this. A lot of them look this way.
I mean, they put them in the technical textbooks, right? The tricky part will be, as long as the credit backdrop stays in decent shape, and if you had a little blip here the last couple of weeks, this should be all right, because I got to imagine if credit deteriorates, it's going to go to the European financials, and then if the European financials get hit, that means Europe and EFA get hit, right?
Yeah,
kind of that domino. But so far, you did have some widening recently. I don't know if the lows are in for the cycle. Probably the credit tights. But as long as we're not blowing out, then that's okay. And look at this. I love charts like this. When you go years, decades without making a new all-time high. And this was Japan. Japan was like this 2 years ago, last year. Japan's cooled off here. Now Europe is kind of taking the baton from that index.
Well, I don't think
Canada.
I don't think a lot of people realize just how bad it's been if you haven't been a U.S. investor for decades now in a lot of places.
Yeah, I think people realize that.
No, but It's been really bad. Like, did you see Meb Faber's tweet yesterday? It was something from like a UBS, probably annual report or something. Longest periods of negative real equity returns, countries going all the way back to 1900. Some of these countries like Austria, Belgium, Italy, even France, 66 years, 73 years, 76 years. It's back from.
It's not great. I mean, you can play those with individual ETFs if you wanted to, but it might. I think it's just easier to just do it in bulk. You know,
U.S. went through a span of 16 years.
Yeah, it's hard to think if that would happen again.
Yeah,
but I mean, you can never rule it out. You just gotta kind of make sure you're prepared for that. We won't know it until it's done. You know what I mean? If like we're in the moment now, we have no idea.
What do you think about Asia? The emerging Asian countries are starting to wake up a bit. It's been very short term, but they're not going down anymore.
What is going on with the currencies there?
Depends on which ones. Some of them look pretty damn good.
Well, look at the Taiwan dollar. I don't know if you've looked at the Taiwan dollar in the last like 5 days. It's just imploded. Well, the dollar has imploded relative to it.
Oh my goodness.
Like it's not like a chart everyone really looks at all the time. But that is a massive, massive move. I have no idea why or what it means.
And it sent EWT, the MSCI index, rocking back to its February highs.
Yeah,
And
look at you can do that for any. Look at for Singapore dollar, Thai baht, Malaysian ringgit, all that stuff. They've all gone.
The baht looks incredible too. Look at the base in the Thai baht. We've been watching this one. We're long THD for this reason. I mean, you can't underestimate the currency impact.
Yo, a lot of it is the currency impact.
Like the action in EWT these past couple of days isn't because like the Taiwan local stock market's, ripping higher. It's because the Taiwan dollar is exploding. Like
I always tell folks, I mean, you can't do it. We don't have it available for Taiwan, but I always find like play international 50-50.
Yeah.
50 hedge, 50 unhedged, because it's so hard to get both markets right at the same time. But for Taiwan, there's no hedge available unless you have, I mean, I guess you could do it through options that way in a sense, but it's not like buying HEFA or HEWG or something like that, which I don't even think exists anymore.
The only one that's not working, I'm looking at like the peso. They all got nice bases, Todd. You're right. The peso too. The only one that's not working is over in Vietnam, the dong. The dong needs some hard mints.
But it looks good. I'm just waiting to see if Japan can get back on the field here. It's close, very close. I still like it.
Japan, I love the little whipsaw.
Yeah,
they'll move lower and then just rocket it higher.
It's been very inconsistent going back over the last year.
Yeah,
but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Just you talking about just the ranging action?
Yeah. Since the beginning of 2024, big range on EWJ.
You could have just traded this range back and forth over and over and over again for the last 16 months.
Yeah. That's not my thing. I don't like
that. No, mine either. But ping.
But so I'm a fan of that. I like developed Asia more than emerging Asia because it's just less volatile to me.
Yeah.
But there are bull markets going on in Europe and parts of Asia, whereas the U.S. is in a little bit tougher of a spot, which is different for the first time in quite some time. The problem is most people can't get big enough in those random country ETFs. You and I can.
Yeah, I know. Some of them they're barely liquid at all. Some of these countries we're talking about.
Yes. Like that's the issue for a lot of our clients. It's just like, I think, hey, buy Malaysia. They're like, I can buy $3 worth of that. For them to get the approval and actually make an allocation is so hard.
Right. And most clients probably not dabbling in the futures markets to go and get that exposure.
I doubt it. There's a select few.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough out there.
Yeah, so that's the only issue when I talk random countries. Now, as an analytical purpose, it's great because then you can see global market breadth, right?
Right.
That's the use case here. So maybe you can't put money on the table, but at least you can get a read on what the global equity appetite is.
Todd, let's talk semis for a second. Since you have a chart, right? We were talking about that at the top of the show. What's the conclusion here?
So flows in late 23 and 2024 were all in on tech. And it was a little disturbing. It was money. No, money was not going to any other sector, just technology. And when you get heard thinking like that, it kind of, to me, says look the other way. And you finally had that last August where tech has been off the playing field since. Fast forward to today, and you're now starting to see some money at least come out of technology sector ETFs. It's not a massive amount, but it is a change of direction. And so that's part of resetting the bar for semiconductors. I am not over my skis on them still. I think software is in better shape, and cybersecurity. But if you're just talking sentiment, at least things are starting to change and kind of thaw out. That's how I would look at this chart for now. How do you feel about semis?
Interesting that the flows in software weren't like semis.
Yeah, it's just there's also just not enough products. There's a lot more semi ETFs than there are software. There's only 2 or 3 really main software ETFs. Plenty of broad, Spider, tech sector ETFs, Vanguard Tech, Fidelity Tech, but there's a lot of semi ETFs out there. There's probably a good 10 or so, plus the leverage ones too.
Todd, does ARK dominate the thematic space?
They did, not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay.
No, I think
interesting that thematic, that was the buzzword from all those years ago, right? Wow.
Yeah, they built up their business. They had a great run, and they created a little bit of a black hole because then everyone started launching thematic funds that are all overloaded on technology stocks, which I think really hasn't worked. And now you're seeing it over again with AI now too. There's all these AI funds now all in the same 5 or 10 stocks. There's no difference in them. But the ARK, the thematic space, it's going to get much more granular rather than just seeing it go bonkers again like you did a few years ago. I'd be shocked if that returned to what it was 4 or 5 years ago.
How have the flows been for speculative tech and ARK?
I'd say inconsistent. Nothing. They had a great year last year, right? I think you and I have definitely talked about that. And the money really didn't return that much.
Yeah.
Not a ton. They had some good days and some notable info days, but I think they had outflows on the year. I forget the number.
Yeah.
Just entirely different. And I don't know if that's because people moved on or they were burned by the turn in 22 or they're still underwater. But they've just moved on. And there's also the other problem is there's such a huge product set. Rather than buying ARK because it had Tesla and Bitcoin, I can buy Bitcoin by itself and I can buy Tesla by itself with leverage.
Yeah, that happens to a lot of these funds. Better options come around.
Yeah, better options or simpler options. There's 4,200 ETFs now, so they have their work cut out for them.
Any thoughts on precious metals? Gold?
I think gold, if you're there, you stay there. I would just be a little concerned about some of the sentiment data. So here's flows. Flows have really picked up recently, which is interesting to me.
I'm kind of surprised we're still not at COVID levels of flows.
For some reason, for a while, it was kind of being ignored. And then the last 2 months, 3 months, it's really started to pick up. Maybe because it hit a new high and everyone was like, I need gold. This is also occurring during the tariff volatility. And then you definitely have some magazine covers out there. I feel like some strange stories going on with gold.
Yeah.
But I'm just so I'm cognizant that things are getting a little bit aggressive. You're a little bit stretched in trend. But
I've been buying gold bars from Costco.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. So I think if you have a position, you just kind of stay there. Maybe you can take a little bit off. I don't know if it's the most timely instrument for fresh money. This is a little bit nuanced where I think you got to manage the position a little bit.
I kind of like the way silver's setting up out here for a catch up.
So we've talked a lot about that. It's a waiting game. My problem with silver is that it's opportunity cost.
Yeah.
Right. And so
bad opportunity cost if the alternative is gold.
Yeah, or Bitcoin, or whatever, stocks. So I don't know if I feel like you just play silver through like a call option or something like that if you can find the right one.
I like that.
Like don't allocate a massive amount of money waiting for this thing to break out. Just buy the call option. I think that's the way to do silver.
Love it.
Because like I've been looking at like some of the silver miners were really good, and the gold miners too. But the actual metal itself, it's just been like, okay, what's going on? Are we going to catch up, or is gold going to catch down?
Todd, all these fund flows into the Treasury ETFs. Why is stuff like TLT? They're all getting crushed out here, though.
No, totally, because that's the duration sucks.
But the flows have been very positive for a lot of these bond funds as prices are falling. Is that right?
For shorter duration, yeah.
Okay.
Long duration has had outflows, and I think that's actually a very interesting predicament for longer term investors, right? Long duration is not working anymore. It hasn't worked in ages. It's immensely volatile.
Yep.
And so I could take the allocation from long duration, unless we're going into a recession, and then it may actually work. And I could put that in crypto. I can put that in managed futures. I can put that in any sort of alt. And then also still keep my short duration where I'm getting 4% with no volatility. But longer TLT has been it's been awful.
Well, Treasury spreads are really at their highest level this entire cycle.
Yeah. I mean, credit spreads have blown out too, so it's a matter of tights in, probably. But I still don't. I don't love the long duration thing. It's just too hard. The volatility. You have the same volatility on TLT as you would on an S&P 500 ETF. Very similar levels, despite it saying Treasury bonds.
Yep. You mentioned cyber before. Do you track the flows into cyber specifically, just at the industry group level?
I have them. I don't know them off the top of my head.
Yeah,
but I'd like to say there's been some bites there to some of them. That's a good group, and so that's almost kind of like the new thematic group there. Yeah. Like rather than innovation and disruption, now you're doing security.
Yep.
You know,
the relative trends for the cyber ETFs, whether it's hacker, there's the other one, cyber CIBR.
Yeah, bug
bases.
BUG. It's a good ticker.
Which one?
Bug.
Yep.
BUG. Good set of names.
What's in here? What is bug compared to the other ones?
In terms of the constituency, it's all gonna be the same names.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bug looks good though, right, Spencer? Spencer's looking at it like, ooh, I want this one.
Well, I always looked at cyber versus hack because those were the two largest for a long time, and then one of them overtook the other. I forget which one.
The other one you're gonna look at is SHLD.
What is that?
Now, this is going to be a little bit of a mix. So it'll have Palantir and then defense.
You could tell this one's got a lot of Palantir in it.
So it's going to be your defense, your missiles, and then some of the cybersecurity stuff. I think you'll find a name or two in there. Mostly defense. But that's an interesting way to look at it. So
you're getting breakouts just at the component level. More and more of these stocks, they just keep popping up on our scans. Something Zscaler the other day, hadn't heard from that one in a long time. Making new highs. And they're some of the strongest stocks. They've been some of the most resilient stocks, at least in the growth space.
I wonder if does that translate eventually back to semis or not? You know,
shouldn't it?
You would think so, but at this point, who knows? That's gonna be the interesting part about tech.
We call it intra-sector rotation, right?
Yeah.
Where a sector might be doing well, but then there's rotation among the subsectors beneath the surface. And right now, semiconductors have just been the dogs, and it's been that way, like you said, since last summer. It's been going on for a long time. And if this is going to be some sort of prolonged bull market, and we're going to be back off to the races, like some of these international ETFs already are, then you would think money comes back to semiconductors and leadership comes back to semiconductors, at least for short or intermediate term.
Yeah. And they've had a good correction, 40-ish% since last July.
Some of the stocks, AMD down 60%. I mean,
that's a
good. It's good reset.
A necessary evil to get through this, especially given how crazy the activity was. I think it's some of those names.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. See, this guy bought SHLD.
I never heard of it until just now. I'm interested.
This is what I'm here for. I just throw things out there.
Well, it's new. It's new.
Right.
It's from like a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
On that note, you're right. Todd is paying attention to these new ETF launches more than anybody. What are some of the cooler launches recently?
Cooler. Oh god.
What are some of the cool funds that's
the best fund out there is SAMT, Strategist Macro Thematic.
Hey,
Hell yeah, shout out Strategist.
This guy right behind me, he's the one managing right here.
Hey, that looks a lot like the SHLD, or no, the other one.
Well, it does have some defense in it. It's got some nuclear and some AI.
Oh wow!
What for AI?
Let's see what we got here. It's going to be the more derivatives, not going to be your NVIDIA.
You got the SoundHound?
Wait, no SoundHound. No.
It's not that crazy.
Constellation?
But like a name, I mean, Microsoft and Meta. But then you look at something like Spotify.
I'm in top 4 holdings.
Intuitive Surgical.
I'm in 2 of the top 4 holdings are Costco and Berkshire. I'm in.
Yeah, well, those are going to be more your
Say less
quality type names.
I mean, guys, shout out to Warren Buffett. After all these years, he retires at all-time highs. Isn't that appropriate?
Yeah.
Not many stocks were at all-time highs this weekend in the S&P 500. I think I counted.
It got hit yesterday, but I think it's fine. It's fine. But look, how many? Here, put it this way. I'm talking our own cooking here. How many ETFs can you find that have Berkshire and Rocket Labs in it?
Quote of the day.
There you go.
Quote of the day. Quote of the day. That's why.
Not total market ETFs where they're going to be watered down. These are concentrated positions.
Dude, Rocket Labs, good for you. I love that. Make them count. Rocket Labs looks so good. Set up beautifully here. It's been coiling for months, and now it's taking out the VWAP from its all-time highs.
My guy here is a Rocket Lab OG.
What a chart. I love all these space names.
Yeah, they're interesting, right?
There's some of the strongest, charts out there.
They're your SpaceX proxy, basically.
Yeah.
That's still private.
You ever getting an IPO there?
I don't know. Who knows?
I've been watching the Twitter documentary. You guys see that? On Netflix or HBO?
Is it good?
Everybody's in it except for Jack Dorsey.
Is it worth watching?
Rachel's asking the ticker. It's SAMT.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I've been enjoying it.
Wait, it's a documentary about Twitter?
SAMT.
It's about like the life of Twitter?
Everybody's in it. Biz Stone, Evan Williams.
All right.
Cool.
The other one not launched. Every other launch now is just putting leverage on something. By the way, speaking of just broader stuff, just
well,
like throwing crap at the wall, see what sticks.
But haven't we been waiting for this for years? Because Europe is way ahead of us on the leverage game. They have the 4 and the 5.
Yeah. But that's the different. They're doing the espressos in the afternoon. They're not buying 3x semis.
Oh, it's funny.
It's just a different culture.
You have to have an afternoon coffee if your country allows triple leveraged individual stock funds.
Yeah. I gotta keep the energy going.
Yeah. Fair enough.
There should be some other fun ones out there soon, but leverage.
Todd, thanks for coming on.
It's always a
Thanks,
pleasure.
Todd. Good seeing you.
Thank you guys. You too.
Todd Sohn is our ETF expert. Joins us every month. We appreciate it as always.
Always a fun chat, and you always learn a new name from Todd. I don't think Todd has ever come on and we haven't been like, "Oh, what is this? What are you talking about? What ETF is that?" So
that's true. Before we go, I wanted to throw this slide up here because I saw this tweet this morning and I thought, what an insane thing to say. So, Paul Tudor Jones, there is a 10% chance AI will lead to a weapon that takes out half of humanity.
And he probably said it with the kindest Southern drawl you could ever imagine. Probably made it sound good when he said it.
What a crazy thing to say. Just to put a number on it. 10%. Are you sure? You sure it's not 12?
I saw him on. These guys, they're numbers guys. They can't help it. I saw him on this morning. I did not hear that, but I would have gotten a chuckle out of it.
Like the craziest thing. Just scrolling through Twitter, mind my own business. Boom, AI, half of humanity.
What would we do if we didn't have hedge fund managers coming out and scaring the shit out of humans
That's a
every
great
other
question.
week?
What
You
would
know?
we do? Great question. Oh, look at that. Market's open. Didn't even realize.
I think Ackman was talking a lot yesterday, so he probably just had to one-up them, scare everybody a little bit more. Got to appreciate a guy like Steve Cohn who just wants to talk about baseball.
Yeah, honestly. It's so funny because he's been like a pretty great, right? For the Mets the past 2 years.
Go Mets. Go Knicks.
So,
okay.
oh man, what a
Shout
game.
out my New York Knickerbockers.
All right,
Jalen.
wait. Let's do recess and then we'll talk about the Knicks because what a freaking game last night. Oh my god. Session. I didn't watch the whole. I only really watched the most of the third quarter, the fourth quarter, and overtime. So
Yeah. Well, you caught the good parts.
I caught the good part. That's right. But man, what a game, man.
This guy is one of the greatest Knicks of all time.
He's probably like top 5. He's like 5th right now.
I agree.
Right?
He's already top 5.
He's like 5th. Yeah.
He's so clutch, man.
Yeah.
You're always in the game when Brunson's in. We're down 20 points.
The other way to spin it would be like the Celtics, their best player is obviously hurt. Their second best player missed half the game. They missed 45 3-pointers, and they still took us to overtime.
I know. What's his name? Only had like 23 points.
I know. Anyway, we stole a win. That's all they care about. But
if we could knock off the Celtics, they could make some things happen this year. They could make a run.
Yep.
Got the role players. Anunoby had like 30 last night.
Big if. My wife was like, so like she asked, like, so the Knicks, like, are they going to win? And I said, no, they're not going to win. No,
I don't think so. They were getting like 10 points last night.
They're not going to win. Yeah.
But that in perspective, Celtics are good.
They're way too good. All right. What's the deal? It's Tuesday. We do spaces with a chart report at 11 o'clock. So if you're on the X or the Twitter, we'll see you guys there.
It's a lot of fun. We talk about all sorts of things. We'll probably even talk about the Knicks some more.
Maybe. I don't know. And that's our last broadcast or show of any kind. Normally we do Mackie and we go live on Tuesdays. We can't do it today, so we're going to try to figure out a time we can do it later on this week. We got a lot of earnings to talk about with Jeff.
Sean and I are starting a new regularly scheduled Tuesday show next week.
I didn't know it. Not next week.
It's going to be live and interactive. We're going to take requests from the chat.
Not next week. You're not doing it.
Oh, the following week when we're back from New Orleans.
That's right.
I booked my flight last night.
Yeah, I heard. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you're following us on the socials or you're not, here's our accounts. Give us a shout out, give us a follow, give us a tweet, an Insta, whatever the kids call it. We are not on TikTok. Maybe we should be. I don't know. Thank you, Todd Sohn. Thank you, Kenny Glick. Thank you, JC Parets, for gracing us with your presence. We'll be back tomorrow morning with the one and only Brian Lund.
Ooh, Brian Lund. Yep. Follow us on InstaFace.
Go make some money. See you on the InstaFace.
Adios.
I can't take no